Good morning. Let's get started.
Establishing the place of prayer. Nam myo ho renge kyo. Nam myo ho renge kyo. Nam myo ho renge kyo. Yeah, now we have just chanted Nam myo ho renge kyo. At this moment, this place has become the place of prayer to Odaimaku and the place of prayer for our heart during lifetime. At this very place of prayer to Odaimaku, all Buddhas have attained enlightenment. This is also the place where the Buddha have expounded their teaching. This world in which we live, we're living in and chanting in Odaimaku, is a place where the Buddhas live in peace. Adoration of Gohonzon. In the mandala Gohonzon, the object of our worship is shown the origin of how the mandala was written. One day in the 12th month of 1274, 11th year of Bunrei, I Nichiren wrote the Gohonzon in the village of Haki, province of Kai, the present-day Minobu-san, Yamanashi prefectures. It was a time when over 2,220 years had passed since Shakyamuni Buddha passed away. Nevertheless, in the three countries of India, China, and Japan, namely in the world, there had never existed a Gohonzon like this. This is probably because none of our past masters attempt to spread the Gohonzon among the society even though they are aware of its existence, or it may be that nobody knew about it. Shakyamuni Buddha, after careful consideration, determined that he should conceal the Gohonzon until the arrival of an opportune moment to reveal it, leaving it to the people in the period of Mappo. In fact, the Buddha preached in the Lotus Sutra that his messenger Jogyo Bosatsu should spread the Buddha's teachings in the first 500 years of Mappo. As predicted by the Buddha, Nichiren Daishonin appeared in this world to reveal the Gohonzon and expounded the teachings of the Odaimaku, signature given by Nichiren Shonin himself, Nammyo Horenge Kyo. Words of oath before reciting the Lotus Sutra. To carry out the way of the Buddha, as the Buddha Shakyamuni Buddha has been expounded his teaching without rest, from the beginning to this day, not only in our world, but also in immeasurable world. Among his teachings, the Lotus Sutra is the most important. If you devote yourself completely to the faith in the Lotus Sutra, you will surely become a person who truly practices the way of the Buddha. All of you, even after my death, should continue having faith in the Lotus Sutra and reciting it. Make this oath before me now. Nammyo Horenge Kyo. After carefully considering how he can expound clearly the substance of his enlightenment, Shakyamuni Buddha calmly opened his eyes and began talking to Shariputra. who was known to be the Buddha's wildest disciples. The wisdom of the Buddha, not to mention my own wisdom, is so deep and wide that it is far beyond your imagination. Since you want to understand Buddha's enlightenment, if it is expounded as it is, I first try to reveal my mind by using Hoben, or expedient wisdom, borrowing your heart. However, since you could not even understand the purpose behind Hoben, you are far from being able to enter the world of the truth. Shariputra, who understand impermanency just by listening to the Buddha's teaching, and Engak Buddha, who seeks enlightenment just by sensing impermanency through experiences, are the people who are practicing individually to reach a state of enlightenment. Hence, they cannot understand the interrelation between expedient and the truth. This is because the Buddha, unlike you, has trained himself under countless Buddhas, carried out countless practice taught by them, and accomplished the goals of severe practice in order to attain enlightenment. His reputation is widespread. The Buddha's enlightenment is unprecedentedly deep and has been preached and expounded skillfully. However, it seems to be too difficult for you to understand the true meaning. Shariputra, even since I became a Buddha, I have been expounding my teachings broadly using examples and parables. I use every kind of Hoben or expedient wisdom in order to rid people and save them from attachment. The reason that was possible is because the Buddha is perfectly equipped with an understanding of both Hoben and truth. Shariputra, the Buddha's wisdom is wide and deep. That is to say, the Buddha holds four immutable minds, known as Jihikisha, love, compassion, happiness, and disturbance. And when he expounds his teaching, he is visible and flexible, equipped with 10 kinds of supreme wisdom, and teaches he believes without reserve. At that time, his mind is unshakable, wiping off hesitation completely, distancing from any suffering and focusing on goodness so that he can ascertain the truth. In other words, the Buddha has all the wisdom to teach and lead all people. Shariputra, the Buddha adapts his teaching in accordance with time and place, conjuring of teaching method fit for each person he teaches. His way of teaching is very flexible, bringing those whom he teaches to certainty and joy. Shariputra, all told, the Buddha has attained the Dharma, immutable excellence, which none has achieved up to now. I will stop expounding my teaching to you. Listen carefully, Shariputra. I probably should not expound my teaching to you since you cannot understand the true purpose of the Buddha's teaching. The reason being, my word of enlightenment is unprecedented and is the most superior. It is a word you will never be able to reach. Only the Buddha attains the reality of all things in their fullest extent. This true state of all things must be viewed from the following 10 kind of perspective. So is the outside appearance. Sho is the nature hidden inside. Tai is a combination of the two. These three factors are the fundamental of existence. Riki is the inner power. Sa is the outside effect. In is the indirect cause. En is the indirect cause. Ka is the result. Ho is a new interrelationship with the surrounding suitable to its effect. The factors of home, which encompass So, Sho, and Tai, and Matsu, which encompasses the rest, are the factors. Existence in all things and always complement one another. This is To, or equalities. Chapter 16. The duration of the life of the Tathagata. I, Shakyamuni, am originally a Hotoke, Buddha. I am always expounding the teaching of the Buddha to lead you into the way of the Buddha. Many hundreds of thousands of years have passed since I began expounding my teachings. In order to help save you, I have even hidden myself tentatively from this world, but I am always present in this Saha world. I always live here expounding the Dharma. To tell the truth, I am always here, but for those who don't realize that, I am intentionally hiding myself from your sight. When you notice my absence, you appreciate the Buddha for the first time, for services, for his remains, and then soon, every one of you begins to seek the Buddha seriously from the heart. Once you have trusted the Buddha in all seriousness, you will honestly begin to want to meet him and seek the way of the Buddha at the cost of your lives. When you enter that state of mind, you realize the Buddha is present in this world along with his disciples. You will then begin to understand the reason why the Buddha is saying, I am always here, only I choose to hide and appear on purpose in order to save you all. In fact, if there is anyone who seeks me, not just on earth, but anywhere in space, there I am able to expand my teachings. You might think there is no Buddha simply because you don't care to lend an ear to the Buddha's teaching. When I look at your ways of life, I can tell very well how hurt you are struggling with various suffering, unable to find a way to escape from them. I hide myself from you both to help you realize you can never escape from the suffering of this world by yourself, and become convinced that you should seek the Buddha and his teaching. When these feelings arise, you will understand that the Buddha is actually expounding his teaching at all times. This is known as the Buddha's supernatural powers. In other words, the Buddha is anywhere at any time. Even when you suspect that the world has come to its end and that it will burn to destruction in a great fire, my mental state always remains peaceful, and my surroundings are full of people with the same mental state. It is like, for example, a beautiful flower garden and bushes. There stand a building like a castle. Around it grow trees full of beautiful flowers, and fruit and people are living happily. It is as if heavenly beings are playing music, and petals of the mandalas flowers are grateful pouring around us. My word of enlightenment, my word of wisdom will never be destroyed, but all of you who are at a loss believe this world is moving toward destruction, and that's why you exist in this world. All kinds of frightful and painful events will arise. The reason why you are suffering as you are right now is because you have totally failed to reflect upon your hurt, hatred, waste of life filled with worldly desires, without paying any attention to the right religion and the right faith, and not being mindful of making any efforts. Those who continue to conduct good deeds for the world, for its people, with the right faith at heart, are released from the binding of self-attachment, and neither fool themselves nor others. People of this kind will understand that I am expounding my teaching here all the time. To those who seek the way of the Buddha in such state of mind, I teach them that the Buddha's life is eternal. To those who do not seek the faith, I teach them to have faith in him. Thus, my wisdom works at my own will. Since I have limitless wisdom and have gained an eternal life, I am capable of saving all people, and these incomparable powers can be obtained thanks to my own endeavors practiced day by day without rest. Those who make effort to try to comprehend the significance of life, you must have not questioned the true eternal existence of the Buddha. You must fundamentally take yourself from your current hypocritical ways of life. That way you will understand that the teaching of the Buddha are fruitful. When the renowned physician saved his children who themselves were suffering from deadly poison, but would not accept any medicine given by their father, by telling them, "Your father is dead," when in fact he was alive. Nobody blamed him. Likewise, I am actually the father of this world, capable of saving all people from various pains and sufferings. However, you can't tell what is right and what is wrong. In order to open your eyes, I said that the Buddha is not here, while actually I am here. But if you become aware that I am really here, you will gradually lose a sense of appreciation and begin to develop arrogance. Then eventually you will return to the life full of worldly desires and ultimately fall into the three evil lands of hell, hungry spirits and animals. I can see clear whether or not you people are following the right way. That is why I expound the teaching in many ways in order to lead you appropriately. I have only one wish. My wish is to know how I can quickly lead you to the right way of faith and become a Buddha as soon as possible. Chapter 21, the supernatural power of the Tathagata. Within the spirit of the message of the Lotus Sutra will be handed down from generation to generation forever. I, the Buddha, state the main points of teaching carrying in the Odaimoku. The Odaimoku include all the merits of the Buddha's enlightenment. The Odaimoku contain all the supernatural powers of the Buddha to save all peoples. The Odaimoku is a crystallization of the Buddha's boundless wisdom, necessary to teach and lead all beings. The Odaimoku expresses all merit the Buddha has practiced. These four things, showing the Buddha's real image and spirits, are explicitly revealed in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha's true mind in the Odaimoku. Especially after the Buddha's extinction, you must keep in mind that you should believe from the bottom of your heart in the Lotus Sutra and the Odaimoku in which the entire mind of the Buddha is clearly explained, and that you should recite and study the Lotus Sutra and chant the Odaimoku in order to practice the Buddha's teachings as instructed by the Buddha. Wherever the place might be, at the place where the teaching of the Lotus Sutra have spread and the faith in the Odaimoku is practiced in correct and proper ways, you must set up a place of prayer and spend your life with faith in the Sutra, be it in a village or a countryside with ferns, woods, or globes, or in a monastery or in the house of ordinary people, or a residence of higher stated people, or in a mountain village or a vast plain. The reason for this is that nowhere else but a place where the Odaimoku is believed in and its teachings are expounded is a true place of prayer. It is this place of prayer to the Odaimoku where all Buddhas have become enlightened. Here the Buddha expound their teaching in other words. This subtle world in which we live, believing in the Odaimoku, is the very place where the Buddha's true word lies. Offering of merits. All the practice of Odaimoku chanting, all the merits Shakyamuni Buddha has attended in other words, his true heart, are included in the 5 letters of Myoho Renge-kyo. If we believe in and practice the teaching of the 5 letters at the cost of our lives, we are able gradually but surely to gain the Buddha's true heart. Nam Myoho Renge-kyo. 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 Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo, 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 Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. 死教難事脈残事者が即官議諸仏役年如是死人諸仏昇誕世俗有名世俗精進世名字開業図打者即位失徳無常仏道の往来世独自死教自身仏師従順全知仏滅道後の下合義下昇天に世間資源北異性の周遊説一切天に大欲よ将来やsorry. I now show my appreciation to the three treasures of the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, for my being able just now to chant the Odaimaku and recite the Lotus Sutra, and offer the merit of the chanting of Odaimaku and the reciting of the Lotus Sutra to all those who have granted me favors with gratitude and to those who have passed away. I have the honor of chanting the Odaimaku and reciting the Lotus Sutra in front of the Mandala Gohonzon, which shows its perfect harmony and is unprecedented in history. I call on Kuon Jitsujo no Shakyamuni Butsu, the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, or the original Buddha who continued his eternal relief mission. I call on Nammyo Horengekyo, the fundamental laws of cause and effect, which works beneath all existence, including human beings. I call on the Honge Jogyo, superior practice Bodhisattva, Nichiren Daibosatsu, the Buddha's messenger assigned especially to the period of Mappo, the latter age of the Dharma, who revealed the existence of the original Buddha and true Lord of Nammyo Horengekyo. I played from the bottom of my heart and offer my profound appreciation to these fundamental three treasures, all expounded in the Lotus Sutra, Nammyo Horengekyo. Specifically, I pray that the merit of our faith will lead the spirits of our ancestors. At the same time, I pray that all spirits, related and unrelated, will attain Buddhahood. The concluding part of the Juryo-hon, chapter 16, the duration of the life of the Tathagata, and the Jinriki-hon, chapter 21, the supernatural powers of the Tathagata, of the Lotus Sutra, which we have just recited, lead as follows. I have only one wish, that is to know how I can quickly lead you to the light way of the faith so that you can attain Buddhahood. For that purpose, chant Odaimaku and lead your life following the teaching of the Odaimaku. Even if you cannot see me, if you do so, you will certainly walk along the way of the Buddha and attain enlightenment in this world. Nammyo Horengekyo. 主上無変性願道煩悩無臭性願断訪問無人性願知仏道無常性願上 Sentient beings are immeasurable. I bow to serve them all. Our ever desires are exhaustible. I bow to consume all. The Buddha's teaching are immeasurable. I bow to study them all. The way of the Buddha is excelled. I bow to attain the path sublime. Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. 悲願相相守欠上昇地
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Let's continue chanting for inner peace of all living beings. See you evening time or see you tomorrow morning. सभी जीवित अंतरिक्ष शांति के लिए नाम म्यो फोरेंगे क्यों का जाप जारी रखें. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Have a nice weekend. शाम को मिलेंगे और खार मिलेंगे.